What up, Wastelanders? Christopher here, Gaslands NorCal. Thanks for joining once again for another conversion video. Now, as I've said before, one of the most difficult things about doing these videos is finding something else to do. What kind of build do you want to see? What kind of casting do you want me to use? Any new techniques, paints, whatever. So I always put it out there. If you want me to build something or use a casting or something you want to see, definitely let me know. Well, I put that out there. One of my viewers said, hey, have you ever done a brick and mortar build? I kind of had an idea what kind of casting it was, but I asked anyway, and it is the brick and mortar. It's the line that is compatible with Mega Bloks, or also known as Legos. Now, I love the Mario Kart Gaslands just as much as the next guy. All the castings looks cool, all the terrain pieces and the tracks and everything are awesome, but until Legos does a Gaslands or a Mad Max movie, I'm not too to the toy kind of thing. So what I'm going to do with this one is I'm going to take it from a toy and turn it into a real live Gaslands, Wastelands looking vehicle, so it doesn't look like a piece of plastic. So that's what I'm going to do this time. I've got a couple different techniques I'm going to use. I'm going to be cutting this thing up. I'm going to go through and I'm going to put it all together before I prime it. At least that's the plan, which is something I don't normally do. But yeah, so first off, we got to get this baby apart and make it so it doesn't look like a toy. Alright, since it's just plastic, it really didn't take anything to get it apart. The rivets or where they were holding them in. Just a couple rotations with the drill and it's all out. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get the round pieces all cut off, because those are quite obviously Mega or Legos or whatever you want to call them. So I'm going to get those cut off, have an idea of how I'm going to cover them up. For the doors, I've got some smaller pieces, some like some rough corrugated metal that are going to fit inside there. I trimmed them just right, so won't have to worry about those. I can just stay in there, glue those in there. But I have a couple different ideas for how I'm going to do the top armor and like on the back and stuff. I've either got this sheet of diamond plate, this smaller diamond plate that I'm looking at, or maybe some foil from the top of a wine bottle. I don't know, we'll see how it turns out. I think I'm going to make this thing a tracked vehicle, so we'll get the tracks on the back and the skull devil horned wheels on the front. But like I said, I'm going to get it all together, get these things cut off, and then I'm going to prime and paint it, which is kind of out of my normal steps of doing things. So let's get all the plastic pieces off so it is looking less and less like a toy and more like a Wastelands warrior. So we'll get that done, and then we'll see where we're at and get these glued in there, and then we'll go from there. So yeah, let's get to snipping. So the armor pieces are in there, looking pretty good, getting less and less like a toy and more like a Wastelands warrior. I've decided for the top, I am going to use this foil that I pulled off of the top of a wine bottle. It's obviously kind of like tin foil, but it's a little bit thicker and it conforms a little bit easier without being so thin and flimsy. All I did is, I'm going to use this piece, I just went through and I kind of crumpled it up and then flattened it back out so it had all the crinkles and ridges and everything else, and then I just formed it to the top of the vehicle. And I'm going to go ahead and trim off the edges and stuff, because I just want this on the top. For the back, I am going to use the Plasticard diamond plating. Just get that on there and trim it to fit. For the engine compartment, I'm going to Dremel out the area where these back two little dots are, so the engine will sit down a little bit more inside of the casting, so it's not just sticking up on top there. And then probably glue over the top of that first hole, or see where we're at when we get there. But yeah, I'm going to use these tracks for the back and the wheels for the front. But yeah, let's get it all covered up and all the holes and everything covered up and the engine in there. And then we'll see where we're at before we start priming and painting it black. But looking a little bit better than a Lego. So let's do it. material are all primed up in black, and even like this, it's looking obviously much less like the toy Lego machine that it started off as. Got the engine in there, got some exhaust going on. The hood is going to look very cool. I'm going to go through and dry brush everything silver except the tires. I'll do the hubcaps and everything silver and stuff, but obviously the tires want to keep black. The tracks will do silver and everything, so let's get it dry brushed. We've got the weapons and everything already all picked out. I've got some flammable oil, got a fuel tank to go up front, got a ram to stick up front, the chains that are going to go over the oil, like a minigun, and then some missiles that I painted up. They're going to go on the back like so and look very cool. So let's get everything dry brushed, then we'll start getting it back together and see what else needs to be done. But yeah, actually coming along a lot better than I was expecting. So let's do some dry brushing. Alright, so we're all dry brushed, looking very cool. I love how the top with the foil and stuff came out. I don't like that it's all just the black and silver and stuff, so I am going to go through and use some Blood Angels contrast, the red to do the body and some in the back and stuff, just to give it a little bit different effect than just being everything metal and everything. So we'll get all that done, and then we'll start getting it all back together. But yeah, looking very cool, coming together very nicely. So let's get some contrast going on, and then we will start getting it all armed up, and we'll see where we're at. But looking pretty cool, liking it. Alright, yeah, I'm really loving how this is turning out. I'm very surprised. The red turned out really cool with the black and the silver underneath it, just that contrast, giving it some really cool effects and everything in there. Got a little bit of yellow on the engine, on the intake and everything. So now we're going to go through and just get it all armed up, get the fuel tank and everything on there, the missiles and the guns and everything, and then we'll see where we're at. But after that, probably just going to be needing a little bit of dusting, and then this thing will be ready to hit the wasteland. So yeah, I'm liking it. Glad I did it. Let's get armed up. Alrighty, and there we have it. One brick and motor toy converted to a Wastelands warrior right before your eyes. Gotta be honest, I wasn't real hopeful for this, because like I said, I'm just not a fan of the quite obvious toy cars. Just gets away from the aesthetic for me. But yeah, this thing converted pretty well. It is pretty lightweight, being that it's very plasticky and everything else. I like how the foil on the top turned out. Had to throw that skull in just to be kind of a pay homage to the bone shaker that it yearned to be, that it grew up to be, that it wanted to be, coming from a toy car, just like Geppetto in Pinocchio, wanting to be a real boy. He wanted to be a real car. So if you enjoyed this video, if you learned something, do me a favor, hit that like button. My goal is to do weekly videos, whether vehicle builds, terrain builds, whatever. So if that's for you, hit the sub button below and ring the bell to get notified when new content drops. I do sell all my builds pretty inexpensively on my Etsy page, so if you want to pick something up, see what else I've done, you can request a custom build. If you'd really like to show some love, head over to my Patreon page and get signed up. Every little bit helps keep the paint flowing, the printer printing, and the camera rolling. Until next time, keep your foot on the gas and your finger on the trigger. Gaslands NorCal, signing out.